Is today the day the XRP is about to explode to new all-time highs? Can we expect alts to pump now that FOMC is over? And what's this one new altcoin that's up 377%? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, Altcoin Buzz IO, and as always, is not financial advice, and we wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Also, make sure to join us for our X Spaces Tuesday to Friday at 9 a.m. EST, link down below. Alright, you guys, so the FOMC is officially over, the event we've been waiting for, and we pumped up here into this mid-range here, around $117,000. We've wicked above it, and now we're currently underneath it. We could go higher today, but I do think at some point we get a slight pullback. Maybe the pullback was yesterday, but it wasn't as much of a sell-off as I was expecting. So I do think there's a possibility that late longs get flushed in the next day or so, as we've had just a steady grind up, especially on alts. Also, we're up a lot yesterday after this news of FOMC. So we've come up into this mid-range, which is a level of resistance. So it is a possibility, I think, that we could still go down a little bit lower at some point in the next couple of days. But we are grinding up here. And if we just want to continue grinding up here and reclaim this range, then hey, we're probably just going to continue going higher. So if it looks like something like that over the next couple of days, then maybe we are just going higher and all is good in crypto. So starting off today, we have the summary of the Fed decision. The Fed cut rates by 25 basis points in the first rate cut of 2025. The median projection shows 50 more basis points in additional rate cuts for 2025. Governor Moran dissents is in favor of a 50 basis point cut yesterday. The Fed says downside risks to employment have risen. 6 Fed officials see no more rate cuts in 2025, while 9 Fed officials see 2 additional rate cuts in 2025. The Fed is shifting their focus to the labor market. We also have Ali Chart saying, with the Fed's decision to cut interest rates by 25 basis points, crypto quant data shows that Binance is attracting over $2.1 billion in USDT and USDC inflows. Whale deposits now average 214,000 versus just 63,000 in July, suggesting growing institutional activity. Altcoin deposits are also booming, 25,000 on Binance versus 6,000 on Coinbase, as total address activity nearly doubled since early September. With tightening spreads and deeper liquidity, Binance remains the leading venue for traders. So we're seeing a lot more inflows from whales now that the Fed decision is over. At the same time, we have Metaplanet isn't slowing down. They're setting up a US and Japan Bitcoin arm. They grabbed Bitcoin.jp and they hold over 20,000 Bitcoin. And now they're raising $1.4 billion to buy even more Bitcoin. We also have this yesterday, which kind of feels like a late cycle thing, which I guess we are definitely in a late cycle thing. But the fact that there is now a statue in Washington, D.C. of the president holding Bitcoin definitely feels like a late cycle kind of thing. So we're not early anymore, but yeah, wild. Then we also have Eric Trump saying on Bloomberg TV, why with Bitcoin you can transfer $500 million on a Sunday night with no fees.
Bank that I banked with for 25 years, it took me 120 days to go through and know your customer, right? And you're sitting there saying, why? Why is it every week as a hospitality company, right? I'm trying to get a wire out, or I'm waiting to receive a wire through the SWIFT system, where if I don't get it out by 5 o'clock, and by the way, even if you get it out at 5 o'clock, 0 chance it's making there before Monday. You know, when you can transfer $500 million worth of Bitcoin from an iPhone to an iPhone, having a wallet address, you know, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, you know, for no fees, for practically no fees. And that scares a big financial institution.
And a quick shout out to Surge. It's this risk-free prediction game on Telegram where you just swipe to guess pump or dump, earn rewards, and pick up some market skills while you're at it. They've also just kicked off a daily giveaway. It's super simple. Every day there's a coin of the day, and today it's Stellar. All you gotta do is swipe to find it on the Surge app, screenshot it, and drop it under their tweet. One random reply wins $10 in USDT, so it's super easy. So check out Surge, have some fun swiping, and maybe snag some prizes along the way. And then moving on to some big news that I feel like was overshadowed by FOMC is that we have a XRP and a SPY ETF launching today. So we have Rex shares saying Rex Osprey's XRP ETF, which is XRPR, and Rex Osprey's Doge ETF, DOGE ETF is launching today. So the first US listed ETF spot offering exposure XRP and Doge go live, offering investors a way to access these digital assets through an ETF structure. So that's pretty wild. An XRP ETF is going live today. We have Coinbase saying Rex Osprey will debut the first US spot XRP ETF, while the CME adds XRP futures options on October 13th. So not only do we have the spot ETF coming today, We have CME futures options on October 13th for XRP. And Ripple also says, introducing the next building block of on-chain markets, we're partnering with DBS Bank and FTI Global to establish repo markets powered by tokenized collateral and stablecoins. Investors will be able to use RLUSD to trade for Franklin Templeton's money market fund, SG Benji, and tokenize on the XRP ledger, and listed on DBS's digital exchange, earning yield and opening new liquidity venues. Institutional momentum is building on chain. Then at the same time, we have Coinbase, Circle, and Ripple join forces with the UK and US on the crypto future. So Coinbase, Circle, and XRP are helping the UK kind of get their their crypto legislation together. It was funny because the previous cycle, really before Trump came into office, the U.S. was the one that was really falling behind in terms of all things crypto. And recently it's been the U.K. who's been, kind of struggling in the whole laws of crypto. So it's nice that there is finally some kind of partnership going on. And it seems that Coinbase, Circle, and Ripple are going to be helping bring new laws and regulations to the U.K., which greatly needs it for crypto. And at the same time, we also have the SEC, which approved Grayscale's digital large cap fund for trading. And in Grayscale's digital large cap fund, it includes Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, and ADA, and XRP is at 5.62% of this asset fund. So not only do we have an XRP ETF alone, but it's also included in Grayscale's digital asset large cap fund. And also, Clearpool is participating in XRP Seoul, Ripple's largest Asia conference, which is going on very soon, actually. Our CEO, Jacob, will be speaking on the evolving role and opportunities that digital asset treasuries provide in his institutional era. Together with Ripple, Clearpool is shaping the future of payments. So this is going on September 21st, which is a couple days from now, in Seoul, South Korea. Now, XRP looks really good here. I do think we start to break out of this next level here beyond $3.20 if Bitcoin wants to hold up. If Bitcoin wants to flash crash, I think it is possibly come back down here. But I think overall, XRP still looks really nice. We broke out of this, this ascending trend line here. I also like that the lows were swept here before we had this breakout. So now there's less liquidity down here and more liquidity up here. So it means that XRP is more likely to head to the highs. I do think we probably break through this resistance level pretty soon, especially with ETF demand being spot demand. And I think we probably go towards new highs around $3 and around 369. I think we probably go towards new highs very soon for XRP. So XRP is looking good. And then moving on to what seems like the coin of the day or the week, really, we have for the first time, apart from BNB, Binance CZ has posted about another coin, which is Aster. Aster is a new perps DEX built as a direct competitor to Hyperliquid. It's backed by CZ, Binance Labs, and YZI Labs, which already makes it stand out. $500 billion plus trading volume already, 400 million TVL locked, and $50 million plus revenue generated. 2 million users already. Should we ape? So this tweet is actually deleted right now, but CZ tweeted this yesterday saying, well done, good start, keep building. And he was showing the Aster DEX. So it's a Hyperliquid competitor that was launched yesterday. And so we have wise advice saying, when CZ shills, you pay attention. CZ just posted about the Aster DEX, praising its strong start and telling the team to keep building. So what is Aster? It's a new decentralized perp and spot exchange created from the merger of Asterus and APX Finance. It rebranded in late 2024 with backing from YZI Labs. What makes it interesting is its multi-chain support and low fees, 1000x leverage, and why CZ might be backing it. He's already an early supporter via YZI Labs. He sees Aster quickly grabbing attention in the perp DEX race, and narratives flip fast, just like we saw with MYX run in 10x in months. And then we have Andy saying, BCZ, watch Hyperliquid win the last 12 months, sideline, realize entire business is at risk. Jeremy Allaire says crypto is buying hype, it's getting too late. Launch a competitor on your own chain, call Aster, launch a token, pump the brakes off it on day one, and celebrate. What an absolute wild industry. And then Crash says Aster won't even be available on exchanges until October 1st, supposedly. So anyone who wants to use it has to actually go and use the DEX. Smart launch tactic to get lots of early users. They'll remember being there before the gate is opened. Currently, it's not even 0.5% of the market cap of BNB, and early users should end up being rewarded and prioritized fairly with this setup. So Aster is a very interesting play here because you can't really get it very easily. You can only buy, I'll show you, you can only buy it right now on BingX, which is, it's about double the price. So the price is higher than it is actually on the Aster DEX, and you can get it on Aster's actual own DEX. So it's a very smart way that they did it. They didn't launch it on Binance. They didn't launch it on all these places. They don't have futures for it yet. And so the only place you can go buy is spot on the actual Aster DEX, which I'll show you right here. So you have to go to the actual Aster DEX. You have to, send money to it like you would Hyperliquid. And then you can buy the spot price, which right now is around 46 cents. It launched just around 2 cents yesterday, but quickly pumped. And overnight, it's, pumped over 300%, or really over 494% now. And I think this thing is going to keep going. If we look here, the current market cap is $765 million with a 3.69 fully diluted. Obviously, Hyperliquid's a lot bigger, it's a lot older, and everyone is using it. But I do think there is something to be said about Binance and CZ wanting to take over, and we know how much they compete over business. So the fact that Binance is seeing Hyperliquid take a lot of their business, I think they're going to pump Aster like crazy over the next couple of months, especially the fact that you can't even buy the token anywhere else for the next couple of weeks. When it does start to get listed on other exchanges, I think it's going to pump a lot. So I think this is actually pretty low, 765 million. I think this is probably a couple $1 billion token here. And it's funny because just a couple of days ago, we had Coinbase and their base, basically the Hyperliquid version of Vantis come out, and this token launched as well. So it's crazy. A couple of days ago, we had the base version. Now we have the BNB and Binance version. Everyone is trying to compete with Hyperliquid, and I think we're going to see a lot more chains start to do their own version of Hyperliquid because Hyperliquid is really just taking over. Like we shared in the graphic a day or so ago, Hyperliquid is just behind Binance in terms of spot Bitcoin trading, which is a huge revenue source. And the fact that, it surpassed Bybit, it surpassed OKX. So Hyperliquid is number 2 and they're coming for Binance. Binance is starting to get scared. CZ is starting to get scared, and they are obviously launching the Aster DEX. And I think they're going to pump this to try to compete with Hyperliquid and get a little bit of the attention from Hyperliquid. And then moving on, we have Look On Chain saying institutions keep buying SOL. Falcon X withdrew another 118,000 SOL for $28.39 million from Binance just 4 hours ago. We also have Lark Davis saying the Solana setup looks crazy right now. 17 treasury firms now hold 17.1 million Solana, nearly 3% of supply. Forward Industries raised $1.65 billion to buy Solana and deploy into Solana DeFi ecosystem. Galaxy has scooped up $1.55 billion worth of SOL in 5 days. Stablecoin inflows on Solana are exploding. All this activity suggests SOL has plenty more to come in terms of price action. Once it breaks 250, the long-term target can be above new all-time highs, above 294. We also have Kyle Samani talking about running your entire business on Solana.
And so we're now very much working to make Forward Industries the most on-chain native, publicly traded company in the world. I can't talk about specifics yet, but generally speaking, that would entail things both capital market side and operational side of the business. Capital market side, that would mean we aim to tokenize our stock. Once our stock is tokenized on Solana, then we'd be looking to do things like dividends, equity governance, like shareholder governance, stock splits, fundraising. Prove that you can do all of those things on chain. And then on the operational side, we want to be able to do core business operations. That means on-chain trading. By the way, we already did that. First thing after we closed the transaction was buy $1 million of SOL natively on-chain using DFlow. We hit a bunch of the prop AMMs, bought 1 million from SOL. I tweeted the transaction ID a few days ago. But beyond buying SOL or selling or whatever, we want to be able to run payroll on-chain. We want to be able to pay vendors. We want to be able to run the entirety of the business on Solana and prove to the world that all of those things can be done, so that when companies 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 show up and choose to do this, there is a proven path that those guys can follow.
Now we go to Solana. It's pretty much doing what we expected, where it was just going to consolidate around this range. Because it's one of the strongest coins, it was just going to consolidate here and not go all the way back for a clean retest down here. So it's been consolidating here, and it looks like it wants to head back towards 260 fairly quickly. I do think this space gets filled in pretty quickly. It might be a low level of resistance, but once we're back above there, we haven't closed a daily candle above 261. So a lot of this is air. A lot of this could be filled in very quickly as we go towards $300. So I like this as a trading area. If we were to get any kind of pullbacks today over the next couple of days with Bitcoin, any more kind of consolidation here is probably a pretty good pickup with stops below these levels here. I think as we consolidate right here, we're probably going to blast through this level pretty quickly and head towards new all-time highs on Solana, especially with the growing momentum. And then for ENA, we have YZI Labs is selling ENA, but Maven 11 Capital is buying it. YZI Labs deposited 54 million ENA to Binance over the past 3 weeks and still holds 321 million. Maven 11 Capital withdrew 30 million ENA from Binance over the past 2 days. We also have Coinvo saying Athena's USDE leads stablecoin growth post-Genius Act with over $6.4 billion, surpassing USDT and USDC. And recently, ENA has been listed on OKX. And we also have Tom Wan saying Athena's fee switch is imminent, potentially bringing 4.5% to 15% APR to SENA holders. The protocol generates $50 million to $60 million in monthly revenue, with 750 million ENA staked. That implies 4.5 to 15% APR depending on the fee share. This would transform ENA into a true revenue sharing token. While staking hasn't offered rev share before, staking ENA has been an effective way to accumulate airdrop tokens. So ENA pretty much doing what we expected. We were talking about this a while ago where we had this sweep of a prior high on a daily chart, which did not look good to me. It was basically a double top, and we came back down here, and we drew this a while ago, and it's actually holding pretty strong here. I do think this is probably the level where we create a higher low, and so I do think we continue upwards still. If you can kind of imagine a trend line kind of like this, I do imagine this probably still holds, and we do a bit of consolidating like this, maybe something like this over the next coming weeks, and we probably break out, towards these new highs. So you could take a trade there if you wanted to trade something like this. I prefer to wait for us to break back above here and hold above here for a clear level, because I think this is going to be a big resistance coming up here. But there's definitely a trade to be taken, going from around 69 cents where it is to around 89 cents, somewhere in between here. I do think this is a possibility, and probably we'll see a little bit more consolidation here. I do think we grind up towards this level of resistance here around 89 cents. And I think we'll probably take out this double top over here around $1.33, probably sometime soon afterwards, going into Q4 with all the rate cuts and everything now. I do think we are in for a bullish Q4, and this probably explodes upwards over the coming weeks and months. So that is ENA. And that's the video for today, guys. We are sitting just around 117.3 right before New York Open. So it is possible we grind back up here. It's also very possible over the next day or so we do have a flush, because a lot of open interest has been opened on Bitcoin and altcoins over the past day. So I didn't see a big flush yesterday. I mean, it was choppy. It wasn't a flush at all. Like, this is just chop. And so it is possible that we see a flush before we continue higher. But if we break above here and then just consolidate for another couple of days, especially going into the weekend, I think this is probably a pretty good trade. And we've, accepted above this mid-range level here. And we're going back towards the new highs very soon after. So, but that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.